Hello everyone, my name is Eric Felix, and for my first event report, I attended VentureOut New York's tech meetup called Startups a tech demo party. Before we get to the meetup, let's take a look at VentureOut New York's webpage. On their webpage, you get the concept of what they do. They offer a platform so that startups can pitch their ideas and get heard by the people who matter most for securing funding and getting honest feedback on their business plans. One of their primary goals is to help grow and support the tech community in New York. Their focus is on international startups, and they strive to bridge the gap between international talent and the vast opportunities in New York. As we see in their About section, they explain various aspects that make them up. From what we do, where they explain more clearly why they do business, to whom we are, where you get a chance to get a little background on the key players at the company. The first person is the founder of the company, Brian Frumberg. Brian also started Gotham Ventures, which invests in early-stage technology companies. This is James Osborne, and he is a director of sales. James is a lawyer, and he is also the general manager for the MAC, which is the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. The director of operations is Vivek Anand. He previously worked at Amazon and the Bank of America. Marley Kaplan, the director of marketing, rounds out the key figureheads of the company. The web page also features past events they've hosted, as well as a list of upcoming events, along with a brief description of said event. They also offer you a chance to register for the event. In the next tab, you see VentureOut sponsors and partners. The page also has a blog and a way to contact VentureOut New York. So that wraps up the web page, so let's get on with the meetup. It was held at the luxurious greenhouse in the Soho area of Manhattan. This was a smaller venue than what Venture New York usually uses, which had something to do with the way the meetup was designed. There were 8 startups that were each allowed a minute to introduce their companies and make their pitch. That was preceded by the introduction of a panel of 4 investors. Gil Beda, founder and managing partner of Garacast Ventures. Habib Karouza, managing partner of Row Capital Partners. Kelly Howie, co-founder of Women Innovate Mobile. Thatcher Bell, managing director of Gotham Ventures. As for a keynote speaker, we heard from Terry Kawaja, founder and CEO of Luma Partners. It is interesting to note that without intention, all but 2 of the startups or investors were Canadian. After all the introductions, the startups were allowed to sit down individually with each investor for 5 minutes. I felt out of place, as this was my first meetup, and all I brought was an idea for a business, and everyone else that was there to invest or try to get funds for their company. Although I was greeted with several warm faces and lots of enthusiasm, they immediately started to poke holes in my idea and tried to help me get around it. I really did appreciate this aspect of the meetup, as it was important for me to try to figure out ways that the business could fail so that I could figure out ways for the business to succeed. Because this was a relatively small meetup, I only liked two of the startups. The first was Guestful, which allowed its users to book reservations for their favorite restaurants using the Guestful app. Users can make and cancel reservations, as well as provide a profile that restaurants can then use to give a more custom level of service to their customers. The second startup is Needle. It is a platform that helps employers choose designers. Because it focuses solely on visual communications, employers can then choose the designers based on their portfolios and the quality of their work. I received a lot of advice in reference to my simulated venture. One issue I was having is that since my application could be applied to so many different industries, it was tough to decide where to start. I was advised not to spread myself too thin, focus on one industry like a niche, and once established there, I could venture out into other industries. Another problem my venture has is that it would have a tough time getting traction in the marketplace, since businesses won't use it unless I have a wealth of users willing to use it, but I can't get any users unless I can provide the users with businesses already running the program. It's a catch-22. One possible solution would be to approach a company like ZocDocs that provides users the ability to find a doctor and book an appointment if per se my venture was focused in the healthcare industry to start. I could approach ZocDoc and form an alliance that would give my venture the appropriate exposure to hopefully get traction. Overall, I enjoyed my tech meetup very much, and I found it very helpful to be able to bounce my simulated venture off of other people that were in the tech industry and who have powerful insight into what it takes to get a startup off the ground and achieve success. Thank you very much.